I'm currently joined by Ambassador Virendra Gupta, former Indian mission to UN in New York. I also have Dr. Richard Benkin, commentator and a journalist. I also have Pramitpal Chaudhary, South Asia head, Eurasia Group. Let me start by asking you, Ambassador Gupta. Tesla's, and I want to understand from you, Tesla's potential India plant investment. Elon Musk, he has considered launching a more affordable, Tesla model in India, and this meeting may provide an update on those plans. But I want to understand, how feasible is this collaboration?
Well, Tesla, as you know, is the most prominent electric vehicle manufacturer. And it'll be a big deal for them to come to India. They've been wanting to sell, export Tesla cars, but India has so far been insistent that Tesla should be manufactured. And I think if Tesla were to start getting manufactured in India, it'd be a big boost to electric mobility, which is a broad objective that Government of India attaches huge importance to, because we are deficient in gas and petroleum. So I think we need to do not just our climate change obligations, on which we are very much at the top already, but I think from the standpoint of tackling pollution in our own country and dealing with the deficiency of energy resources, hydrocarbon resources, I think this aspect becomes very important. So I think Prime Minister Modi's discussion with Tesla chairman Elon Musk acquires a great prominence, a great importance. And I think Prime Minister there is, the visit itself is so important on how he would steer the further evolution of India-US relationship, which is extremely important. I would say not just evolution, but I think both parties agree that it needs to be strengthened, that there are all natural causes which impel the further strengthening of these relationships.
Right. In fact, Dr. Richard Benkin, I want to understand from you, again, it's a similar question. How feasible do you think is this collaboration between Elon Musk and India? And what are the repercussions here that you are looking at?
Well, thank you for having me on. The cooperation is not only feasible, I think it's essential.
Okay.
First of all, the context of this discussion is that positive relationship, both personally between Prime Minister Modi and President Trump, and the positive cooperative relationship between the United States and India. We know both the rulers of both countries, ruling parties of both countries, have a similar understanding of the geopolitical challenges they face. And if you look at the ingredients of the America First policy, the United States is not anxious to have boots on the ground to help achieve geopolitical goals in South and Central Asia. India is absolutely key, and we of course know that India has been having battles with communist China. Even though those battles have not involved firearms. So in order for these things to occur, we're going to have to work together so that both countries, and in this case we're focusing on India, have the ability to achieve their technological levels, to give their peoples the prosperity that will keep them in office so they can achieve these geopolitical goals. I think we also can see that because in addition to all the discussions that were talked about earlier, we know that recently there were meetings between Rajnath Singh and Pete Hegseth, and they're absolutely critical. It's not only feasible, it's critical, and I believe, given the cooperative relationship between Elon Musk and President Trump, and given the joint desires of both President Trump and Prime Minister Modi, these are smart people. They're going to find a way to make it work.
Yep. And it's interesting that you mentioned about that relationship between Elon Musk and the US President Donald Trump. Pramit Pal Chaudhary, I want to understand from you, Elon Musk today is a very different Elon Musk from 5 years ago because of the kind of influence that he has in US politics. How might Musk's influence in US politics impact India-US relations and technological cooperation is what I want to understand from you.
So yeah, so Musk and should we say a group of other Silicon Valley entrepreneurs, if you wish, are proving themselves to be remarkably influential with this government. You know, you saw Musk holding a effectively impromptu press conference in the Oval Office the other day, and it was like he was in charge and Trump was just a bystander. It's not completely true, obviously, but there's a technology policy agenda that Musk and a lot of these firms and a lot of these entrepreneurs are interested in, and India is a component of that. Almost all of them have major investments in India or have some stake in India. Many of them have been driven out of China or are not allowed to function there. And many of them face major Chinese competitors. BYD, for example, is arguably the main competitor that Tesla faces, and so on. But there's also another element to this, and I think this is what Modi will face to some degree under Trump, which is that India has its own national champion policy. India wants to make sure that, let's say, in e-commerce space, there is at least an Indian player in that field. It has banned Chinese companies from operating in India, but it's reluctant, not that happy that most of the e-commerce space in India is dominated by US firms. So it wants to have a national champion, and it has in the past, and will probably continue to tip the regulatory field a little bit to ensure that there is at least one Indian player. That's done the same thing in telecom. It's done this in many other areas and is looking for, and in places like digital finance, where India is a world leader, it has introduced regulations that make it difficult for credit card companies to function, at least profitably, and so on. These policies are a red flag for the Trump administration. And it is going to be part of his demand that what in international trade is called national treatment be practiced by India, that US companies must get the same level playing ground in India as their domestic rivals are. In other words, if you want to put it this way, make in India, a cornerstone of Modi's policies, will have major friction with an America First policy on these areas.
Right.
Resolving this, whether it is on things like data localization, cross-border data flow, various regulations and investment policies, is going to be a key point of difference or key point of friction. And it's one of the areas India and the United States need to sit down and work out, preferably as a combined trade and technology pact, where we both can basically have both wins and losses, if you wish.
Right. In fact, one quick word from Ambassador Gupta. You know, H-1B visa, it's one of the big issues at this moment. And tech is one space where India has the workforce. Now, does it coincide with Trump's anti-outsider policy? And how will Elon Musk here, in this particular case, try and work that out with India?
Look, we must understand where is Trump coming from. And as a key strategic partner, we need to show sensitivity to American concerns. Besides, H-1B, to my mind, is not such a big deal. In fact, we are in a very precarious situation that all the talented IT professionals are going abroad. So, in fact, some of the IT companies have been telling me that they find it very difficult to locate people in India to serve responsibilities. So I think it is not a situation which is greatly comforting. We might be taken in that H-1B aspirants are facing some difficulties, and with the policies that Trump might follow of restricting immigration. But I don't think we need to be unduly concerned about it.
Okay.
There is a benefit in that, if people, IT professionals are encouraged to stay on in India, and if there are policies, firstly, if they don't go to US, they'll go to some other country.
Okay.
And even if they don't go out of India and they remain in India, I think ultimately the nation, our country, will benefit a great deal more than exporting of these IT professionals to foreign shores. So
All
I don't
right.
think that is the real issue that we need to invest our effort. There are much bigger issues, and I think I must
All right.
add that when dealing with America, which is a very important relationship for us, we have to contextualize it in the geopolitics.
All right, sir.
And that is providing the clue for the economic difficulties. If one is talking about tariffs and all these things are very easy to find solutions to.
All right. Thank you very much.